All right, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to the stream. Hope you guys are having a good night. I know most of you are probably studying your butts off for the test that you have tomorrow. Hello, Shaz. Hello, Ravish. How are you? Hello, everyone. All right, you guys ready to rock and roll? Yo, 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 everybody. Let's go. All right, so today's all about you. Um, whatever you guys want to talk about, whatever you guys want to ask, I'm here. So I am waiting. Do. I'm just gonna put up the neurotransmitter chart just cause. I'm not super comfortable with posting those questions, Aaron, just because those are super fair game for me. Like next year. So oftentimes I have like a bunch of questions that I pull from, and like I have a test bank of questions, and so questions that I ask you guys are often questions that I didn't put into a test. So, but that means they're good for next year. So probably not. But I promise to set some significant time at the end to ask questions. Nathan. That is a very, very broad question. Um, they, generally speaking, they interact with your, like the ones that we are specifically looking at. They interact with your body in multiple ways, but the way that we are looking at them is how they change and influence your neurotransmitters. That is what we will be focusing on. Yep. You told you will give me. Ravish, I don't know what you're talking about. That sounds as a very aggressive comment, Ravish. I still don't know what you're talking about. There you go, Gabby. Okay. Or Mukti, there's your question. Thank you. Which stage of non-REM sleep includes sleepwalking? Generally, yeah, 3 and 4. Yes. See, you guys don't even need me. Trains, trains. You guys got this. Yep. You guys are on top of it. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Abina. Ravish, I don't remember anything that you were talking about right now. Yep. Yep. Gabby's on it. You guys are doing great. Here we go. Come on, guys. Questions. What do you want me to go over? Otherwise, I'm just sitting here twiddling my thumbs. Ravish, there is a drug effects chart on Schoology, if that's what you're talking about. You can check that. Just hop on Schoology. There's a big chart for you. Let's see what that is. I can go over all of these things, but you have to give me some more. Aaron, I will think about giving you answers. Iman, I won't go over everything. You know the drill. You guys have to ask me specific questions. Okay? Can you explain the difference between absolute threshold again? Difference and absolute? Okay, so remember, when we are looking at the difference and absolute, for both of them, it's 50%. You sense it 50% of the time. So absolute threshold is the minimum amount, the smallest amount, so the tiniest of whispers, the dimmest of lights, the faintest of smells. That's your absolute threshold. The very smallest amount of stimuli that you can receive in order to see something or smell something or something like that. Okay? That's your absolute threshold. Your difference threshold is when you have two items. Let's just say they're two very loud sounds. And your difference threshold is whether or not you could tell the minimum amount of difference between those two things. So that would recognize it as different. So let's say that I was, listening to, I don't know, some famous artist. We'll just go with Ariana Grande again. So I'm listening to Ariana Grande, and I'm like, man, I want to be just like Ariana Grande. So I started singing, and I'm an excellent singer, as everyone knows. And so people who are listening to myself and Ariana Grande sing like next to each other, they would have a very difficult time of telling the difference because I'm really good at singing. But she is, I would say, slightly better than I am. So, and that would be the difference threshold. Does that make sense? Give me a thumbs up if that makes sense. Crystal and Ritha, I can go over drugs if you ask me specific questions. I am not going to just go over all of them. Same with Duck Duck. I still don't know who you are. What was the 10 other questions on again? Yeah. So, Tyler, that's just research methods and statistics and testing and intelligence. That's the other stuff. Can I post the U? Oh, Abina, just type in. Literally, it's mouse party. Type in mouse party, Abina, and then you'll have it. Let me. I can pull that up for you. Mouse party. Yeah, you just type that into Google, and it's like the very first thing. But you have to have you have to. I think you have to be able to run Adobe Flash, but I think that's your only thing. Okay. Do we have to know each category that was on the paper that we got that Friday we did that mouse thing on drugs? Yeah, Shannon, you definitely need to know the difference between a hallucinogen, a depressant, and a stimulant. Just like with neurotransmitters, you need to know like the difference between an antagonist and an antagonist and what that means. Okay, Karis, what about Gestalt psychology? Just I think. So just remember with Gestalt psychology, I'm going to pull down this thing so I can kind of go along with whatever we're talking about. So all we're saying with Gestalt psychology is that our brain, in order to deal with all of the stuff and recognize and know and process everything that happens, it takes everything and it just kind of combines things together. It makes wholes out of wholes, WHOLE. It makes wholes out of things. And so what it's trying to do, it's trying to help you process all this mumbo jumbo that's happening. And so we kind of have all those different like concepts like figure and ground and grouping that help us like pull that together. So the Gestalt psychologists, these German psychologists, were just emphasizing our tendencies to kind of pull information and to take all these different random pieces and make them some sort of meaningful whole. And that's often why different what's the word, illusions will mess with our heads, is because we can kind of play off that fact that our brain tries to make everything a whole. Let me know if you still need, if that's still confusing, confusing you, Karis. I can hit that again. Yep, Ravish, check the Skyward or Schoology NF5. Example of Weber's law. An example might be I was using pennies earlier. Um, um, so you really can just use um, any type of stimuli, and you can say that um, let's go back to the Ariana Grande and Mr. Monk singing competition, which sounds great. I'm really getting behind this. I think this needs to happen. And so all that's happening is you are looking at or you're listening to Mr. Monk and Ariana Grande go off and singing. And while we're singing, we're so close together, but we hit that whenever we do hit that 0.3%, you can like hear the difference. And so all this is saying is that for certain senses, we have very specific, or for our senses, we have very specific percentage difference that will tell you whether or not or we will be able to pick up. So things like weight, we said was 2%. If there's a 2% difference, that's your difference threshold. That's your like, if you take, if you're carrying, if you have 101-pound rocks and you take off 2 of them, you will be like, oh, I think there's a difference here. So let me know if that makes sense, Iman. Yeah. Okay. So Mukti, let's just go through the structure. We can power through the structure and function of the ear. I can crash through that pretty quick. So let me pull up. I'm going to pull up the image of it so that we can, so I can kind of walk through it as we go. Okay. Where are we? Okay. Is that working? Whoa! Light's blowing up on me. Okay. So all we're doing here is we are looking at how we'll start with the outside, the penna. Okay, so the penna is, or the pinna is that outer ear section. It keeps, I don't know why it does this. It like boots back to the first, like, so on my sensation screen, let's see if this works. Does that work? Let me see. Sorry guys, I'm always having this issue. Okay, here we go. This is fine. Okay, so you have the pinna. Pinna's job is to funnel sound into your auditory canal. The waves travel through your auditory canal. They hit the eardrum. The eardrum begins to vibrate. That process of moving sound waves into vibrations is called transduction. Transduction is just the turning of one energy into another one, and then those sound or those vibrations travel along the bones of the middle ear. They hit the cochlea. The cochlea has fluid and receptor cells in it, those little hair cells. And so the cochlea begins to vibrate, and that causes the fluid inside the cochlea to ripple. And the hair cells or the receptor cells in the ear pick up that information and send it along to the auditory canal, and that's how you hear. Boom. Is there an easier way to remember neurotransmitters? Nope. Sorry, Gabby. This is one of those pieces that you just you got to get down. You gotta put in the grind to figure out what all they do. So because what's going to end up happening is months from now on that AP exam, it's gonna pop up with one of those questions, one of those neurotransmitters on an FRQ. And if you just have no clue, then you're just not going to know. So we'll talk more about like strategies when we get later on. But for our test, I really want you to try to hammer this in and see if you can get this knowledge down. So we'll talk about, I'm already jumping into AP exam prep, but don't worry about that just yet. Okay. So do we have to understand how nearsighted and farsighted work or just what it is? It's a good idea, Krista, to understand what's going on. I mean, just what is happening to what is the lens doing wrong when it's nearsighted. Remember that image is being reflected back, but if it's nearsighted, it's not hitting the retina. Like the perfect image is before the retina instead of right on the retina, and then if it's farsighted, it's behind it. So, just good idea to keep in mind. Yep. Activation synthesis theory. Yep, Salma, I got you. So remember, activation synthesis theory is saying that randomly, underline random, randomly throughout the night, your brain is activating. And those parts of the brain that are activating, and so the reason why you are dreaming is you are trying to process those activations. You are trying to sort out, your brain is trying to sort out what your why it's being active and why you're doing those things. So that is that's what's going on there, Salma. Ravish, Ravish, you're driving me crazy, my friend. What's going on? How do you not find this? Go to chapters. Go to you're in fourth period courses. Fourth period chapters. States of consciousness. Boom. Consciousness effects drugs chart. My friend, it is bolt in all caps. I cannot help you if you cannot help yourself. Kate, what's the order that the neurons go through the dendrite cell bodies and axons? Kate, I'm not sure what your question is asking. What's the order that neurons go through the dendrite cell bodies and axons? Kate, ask your question again. Try it again. I don't know what you're asking. Maybe, Brian, maybe. I'll come back to intelligence in a minute. Let me see if I can get to the bottom. That's a question that takes me a while. Okay, could you go over the GABA, glutamate, and norepinephrine neurotransmitters? Yes, Rakib, give me a second. Which drugs are hallucinogens? It's on the chart, Nabil. Nabil, it's on the chart. It should tell you right there. Can you explain perceptual set in normal people words? I thought I used perceptual set. Okay, hold on. Do we need to know the wavelength stuff? Yes, Iman, there's definitely test questions on it, on the wavelength stuff. For binocular depth perception imaging, 3D movies without the 3D glasses helped me. Oh, yeah, okay, there you go. What? Yes, you also need to know what an agonist and an antagonist. You need to know that verbiage, agonist versus antagonist. Yes, excitatory and inhibitory you also need to know. Okay. Ooh, guys, there's so many questions. I'm sorry, I'm so behind. I'm trying to catch up. Uh, okay, so how in depth do we need to know the effects of drugs on neurotransmitters? Guys, remember the FRQ question that I put up? That, like, you need to be able to answer that question. That's what you need to know. That's what you need to know. Rita, your question about the how in depth do we need to know the effects of drugs on neurotransmitters? That FRQ question was very important. That's exactly what you need to know. Yes, Weber's is the minimum difference thing. Yes, auditions. Okay. Thank you, Pandy, for answering questions for me. Yes, high frequency is high pitch. Good. Do we also need to know the parts of the brain? Yes, definitely is on. Definitely need to know the parts of the brain. Gabby, you're asking like when a note is barely out of tune, you can still tell. That's it. If you hear two notes and those two notes are just barely different from each other, that's the difference threshold. Yeah. Do we have to know the endocrine disorder for the chart? No, you don't need to know the. You don't need to know the disorders. There's just nothing on it on the test, but you do need to know the different functions. Do you need to know the specific example drugs that were on the paper, like ice? Yeah. Oh yeah. Yes, definitely, Shannon. Yeah, you do like on that paper. That's good stuff right there. Yeah, you need to know you need to know the different hallucinogens, you need to know the different stimulants, and you need to know the different depressants. Is IQ test is the IQ test valid or reliable? It should be both. Rubbish, they're both. Okay, what's the difference between pain control and dissociation? Rakib, basically what is happening here when we're talking about pain control and dissociation, what's happening is the reason that you can control the pain is because of dissociation. And dissociation is that idea that your mind is split. One part of you knows that you're in freezing cold water, but the other, and like you know that this should be really cold, this should be crazy cold, I should be in so much pain right now. But the other part of you has told itself that this is just lukewarm water, that it's not cold at all, that you're fine. Okay. So yeah, that's think of dissociation as the way that we control the pain. And dissociation doesn't only talk about pain control, it is just talking about what is going on when someone is hypnotized. When people are hypnotized, part of their brain, part of their consciousness is under hypnotism, and the other part is still wandering around in the real world, but we're just like really focused in on this one area. Okay, so Krista, validity versus reliability. Validity is just the test is testing what it's supposed to test. Tomorrow, if I give you questions on trigonometry, the point of tomorrow's test is to see whether or not you know what we have learned so far in this class. And if I add trigonometry questions to it, then it's not valid. It has no validity because it's not the exam is not testing what it's supposed to examine or to test or to assess. Okay, reliability is that if we were to do this multiple times, um, we would get very similar results. So for IQ tests, it's very important that the thing is reliable, because if it's not reliable, then what ends up happening is that you take a test once, your IQ test is once, and you get 130, and then you take it again and it's 101, and you're like, wait a minute, there's this huge differentiation. I didn't get super less intelligent in one day. Okay, so that's validity and reliability. Is there any part of sleep when alpha waves are present? Um, During stage one, yeah, during as you're kind of like toning down, but otherwise no. Zaha, only during stage one. What's the difference between activation theory and the other one? Activation theory? What are you talking about? Brian, what are you talking about? Are you talking about activation synthesis theory? Brian, ask your question again. I don't understand what you're asking. Someone played tennis for 7 hours during the day and dreamed of playing tennis. Would that be activation? Okay, so Aaron, that was the question from the test. So from the quiz, person plays tennis for 7 hours and then dreams about it for 7 hours. I am saying nothing about what their brain is doing at night. I'm not talking about the brain activating during night. All I'm saying is that throughout the day you played this thing, and so at night you dream about that thing. That's information processing. You are processing the thing that you did throughout the day. That's like if I said you watched scary movies all day and then had nightmares that night. Well, that's information processing theory. Your brain's trying to cope with that. And also, it's the same thing. your brain is trying to cope with, not cope, but like process all the tennis that you played. Okay. No, it's not both, rubbish. It is both if I talk about it being both. I think a lot of you guys got tripped up because I said that the two theories work in conjunction with each other, which is important because it's true. That's the way it works. Like if you are dreaming about things that you process throughout the day, well, parts of your brain are activating, but they're not activating randomly. And so if you have a random, crazy, silly dream that you that definitely didn't happen throughout the day, well, that's the activation synthesis theory because it's something that's happening randomly. They work in conjunction. But when I'm asking you a quiz question or a test question, very often I'm gonna be asking about the specific factors of it, and you need to go back and you need to look and you'd be like, okay, well, hold on, like what is definitely here? Well, this is definitely here, and this is not. So don't get tripped up on that. Like I'm asking some very specific questions. So a lot of people got that wrong. But Nathan, Duck Duck, who else? Oh my gosh, this like jumped down. Is on good. Yes, information processing. Thank you for answering. Um, Yes, Nile, excuse me. The different parts, the different machines that I talked about. There's a question on the test about one of those things, so make sure you know. I think there might even be two. So make sure you know MRI, CT, and EEG. Those are important. Shaz, you answered information. Good. Can you re-explain place theory and frequency theory? Yes, I can. Okay, so when when we are hearing pitch, place theory and frequency theory are explaining how we hear that. Okay. So for place theory, the reason that you hear something is geographical. It's look at the name, place. Where in your cochlea are cells activating? Okay, it's this spot right here. So if it's this spot, if these ones are activating, that means that it's this pitch or whatever. So the place where it is. Now, if it's the frequency theory, everything is activating. All of the hairs are activating, but they activate in a different manner. They move in a different manner. They jive in a different manner. And that tells you what the frequency theory is. Place theory, specific area, this spot right here. Frequency theory, everything. How do they dance? How do they jive? How are they responding? That's place versus frequency theory. Okay? Delta waves are only in stage 3 and stage 4. Eric, ooh, Pandy, getting after it. Yes, good. Thank you, Pandy. Trains. We never did the FRQ on drugs. It just didn't. We just didn't have. Oh, what was the FRQ on drugs? No, Shannon. It was the like when you guys were writing about it. I had an FRQ on the board. I said, make sure that you process like you when you are filling out this information that at the end you can answer this question. That's what it was. Okay, free. Okay. Lynn, thank you for answering. Mama, what's the difference between activation, synthesis, and information processing theory? Mama, I think I just explained that. So if you still have questions about it, let me know at the bottom. But I think I went over that. Shaz, electrochemical processes. Okay, think about your neurons and your neurotransmitters. Neuron, the action potential is an electrical process as it channels through. And when it gets to the axon terminal, your neurotransmitters are chemical. So electrical going through the neuron, the message is traveling through the neuron, and then when you hit the axon terminal, the neurotransmitters are your chemicals. And so that's the chemical part. That's why it's called an electrochemical process, is because it's electrical to start, and then the chemical release the actual specific message, and then it hits the other neuron, and the electrical message gets sent through again, and then at the very end you have the chemical message going to the next one. That's why it's an electrochemical process. Good question, Shaz. Can you please explain agonist versus antagonist? Yes, I can do that. Hold on. Okay, I'm getting close. Okay. Okay. So hold on. I'm reading some of these other ones. Okay. So all agonists versus antagonists are talking about is whether or not um, the receptors are allowing more or less into the neuron. Um, how do I want to say this? So it's whether or not they're allowing the new information to like bind to it. So let me see if I can get like a picture for you. Mm, One that actually makes sense and doesn't have like a zillion like extra information. Okay. So let me see if this will help. Make this bigger. It's not letting me make this bigger. Okay. Okay. So give me a second. Okay. Can everyone see that? Is that okay? All right. Everyone see this? Okay, that's fine. Okay. 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 So as it says, a- it's jumping out. Come on, get back to it. Okay. So is it zoomed in? Of course it's not. That would make far too much sense. But it's zoomed in over here. So I don't know what to do. Sorry guys, it's not like super zoomed in. You're just gonna have to deal with it. Okay, so or now it is. Now it's not. Now it is. I don't know. It is what it is. Okay, and now it's not again. And now it's back out. I don't know what's going on. Okay. Um. So um. So when we are looking at these drugs, basically what is happening. Right? Okay. So what's happening here is these are it's looking at like whether or not they're like allowing stuff to come in. So when you have an agonist, drugs that occupy receptors and activate them. So remember, when we're talking about receptors, this is what's like allowing things to come into a new neuron. And so these little like dot things or whatever are what allows like more and more stuff to happen. And so agonists allow more to happen, and antagonists block it. So basically they are keeping the receptors from taking in those neurotransmitters and uh, stopping them from happening. So agonists increase neurotransmission, antagonists decrease them. Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. Okay, Crystal. So for retinal disparity, why is greater distance mean the objects are closer? Because what's happening, Crystal, is your eyeballs are picking up those two different sets of information, and so your eyes, there's a difference in the distance between my two eyes, like just like barely anything. Okay, and so what ends up happening is these two pictures that I'm getting, the greater the distance from these two. So if something is a mile away, does it matter that or if something is 100 feet away, it doesn't matter that my eyeballs have a picture that is 2 inches different, okay, or an inch different, or whatever, okay. However, if something is 3 feet in front of my face, the fact that I'm looking at this picture from two different eyes does make a big difference. And so that's why oftentimes if things are too close to your face, they can be, excuse me, oh, I just burped like into it, my bad. It can it's what makes it so blurry. What makes it difficult to see is because you've got two very the pictures are very different because of how close up it is, and that is what's happening with retinal disparity. I did not. I didn't put it up. I didn't post it. I don't have it here. Basically, Chelsea, all it was saying is, can someone post that for Chelsea? I do not have it on this computer. I know some people took a picture of it, or at least just type out what it was asking. It was basically just telling you to be able to like talk about the functions. Actually, let me see. Let me double check if I have it on this computer. Oh, maybe I do. Hold on. I think it was a little bit different. I think I had one thing. This was most of it. Let me see. I know some people have taken a picture, took a picture of it in class. Let me see if this is. I don't know how much of a change I made on it, because this is what I had, because I had the quote or whatever. I don't. I think I might have added something else because I wanted you to know like these things and stuff like that. So there it is, Chelsea. It might be a little bit different. If someone can let me know. Yep. Yes, Nabil. There is no such thing as pain. Pain is all in your head. Okay. Can you give an example of a test that's not standardized? Um, early versions of my test. But that would be a good example are classroom tests. Like I oh, okay. Oh, no. Okay, so sometimes what I will do is I will go online and I will try to find like test questions and stuff like that. And we have like teacher resources, or other teachers have created tests, and sometimes I'll like grab theirs. And what will end up happening is if I took someone else's test, so, like there's a teacher named Mrs. Meador, and she was just like really proud because she created all of these tests, and she sent it out to like the teaching community, and she like created all of this stuff. And in the end, um like I was able to get it, and I looked at it, and I could never give you that test because the way that she asked questions, the things that she was focused on, well, while they were in this chapter, weren't the things that I really focused on. And so they weren't like, it just, a lot of the questions I didn't like, or I didn't think they were worded in the way that I would word them. And so that, and then if someone took my test, if another teacher took my test and used it in their class, there would probably be some questions that are like, oh, we didn't really talk about this in this class, or this isn't what we really focused on. And so they might not find any use for it. So that would be like two examples of non-standardized tests. Okay. MRI is not on your test, so don't worry about the MRI. We didn't get a chance to go over it. Um, I've already explained, Isan, the activation synthesis there. You're gonna have to go back and find it. Uh, that's a good question about how vision and or why vision is linked with kinesthesia, but it's not on your test, so you don't have to worry about it. So I'm gonna keep going. Okay. Is there a difference between frequency and pitch? Because isn't frequency basically just if pitch is high or low? Um, your pitch is dependent on the frequency. So your like the height of your how high or how low your note is when you sing comes up as a different type of frequency. So you're not exactly answering the right question. So we'll see if that works. Okay. Crystal with all the freaking trains. I see this. She's posted a Quizlet. I'm sorry, Crystal. I'm sure you posted that about an hour ago, but I'm just now getting to all of these gish darn questions. So literally all of the trains for Crystal. Thanks, girl. That is awesome. That is so cool that you're doing that. We appreciate it, or at least I do. So okay. Perpet perceptual set. Remember, perceptual set is just talking about your background, how you perceive the world and how you understand it. So your background, the places that you've been, the things that you have seen influence the way that you recognize and see other things. So different groups of people will perceive things differently depending on the stuff they've run into. I used this example in sixth period, but I didn't think on it like earlier. So I was using myself as an example. Like if I run into a teenager in like in a public area or whatever, and they're doing something stupid, my background of working with teenagers, I want to, in a way intervene without being a jerk about it. Like you would see like an engineer or someone else be like, "Oh, these dang kids are so dumb and they're doing all this stuff." We both see the kid doing like skateboarding in a park, in a like crowded park. We both see the same thing, but they might get really upset because they don't work with teenagers all the time. They don't know how like their thought processes and stuff like that. But I, who work with you guys every day, I might be more sympathetic or I might be more understanding of what's going on, and so I might interact with in that situation in a different manner than what they're doing. And if that makes sense. So that's perceptual set. Your background is going to influence the way that you see things. So in place theory, some cochlea hair cells activate, but in frequency theory, all of them activate. Yes. Okay. Um, on the chart you gave us, it says marijuana is a hallucinogen, but on Schoology it says it's a depressant. It's both, Rita. I will not ask you like that specific thing, but marijuana ends up classified as both. It is both hallucinogenic and it is also a depressant. And there's stupid arguments about where it is. I'm not gonna hound you on it, but it's very difficult to try to get you to give you like a clear, concise piece of information like that and not get it all jumbled up. So you don't need to worry about it, Rita. And I'm sorry that I didn't catch that before that was given out. Okay. So for ear hairs, the cochlea, if I lost some, would the place theory mean I would not be able to hear sound as a certain pitch? And for the frequency theory, I could. Yes, yeah. That would be a way of explaining it. Yep, yep. Yep. Okay. Do we want to learn the drug chart on Schoology or the one that you gave us? I would focus on the one that I gave you. Could you go over the structure of the eye? Yep. Okay. So, Rakib, here we go. Let's go to the eye. Let me stop this. Let me move you over there. Okay. So, you have the structure of the eye. Easy peasy. Get your cornea out here. Cornea's simple job is to protect the eye. You have your pupil in the center. The pupil is the window into the eyeball. It's what allows light to come in. You have the iris, which is on the outside. It's the colored muscle that contracts and retracts to allow more or less light into the eye. You have your lens that's going to take that light and it's going to refract it back here onto the retina. The retina is this back part, and the retina has all your sensory receptors, your rods, your cones. Okay, fovea is going to be that like focal point, the focus, what you're focusing in on, what you're paying attention to, what you're like studying, and then you're going to have your optic nerve that takes the information all the way back to the occipital lobe of the brain. And then end up here, you've got your blind spot. Your blind spot is right at the optic nerve. And the reason why you have a blind spot is because there are no rods and cones at that place, because there's all those, all that tissue that's sending the information back to your brain. Okay. Um, yes. Oh, excellent, guys. You guys are doing great. Thank you for answering these questions. Awesome. Okay. Yep. Figure is what your consciousness is focusing on. Yes, ground is everything else that your unconscious. Yeah. You're getting a little fancy with the unconsciousness stuff, Lynn, whoever you are. But in the end, really, it's your the stuff in the back. Um, the unconscious stuff is just everything in the back. Is just everything in the background. Do we need to know the pupil, iris, cornea, rods, and cones? Yeah, Niall. Yeah, it's all fair game. On computers, you can only select one window at a time. That's similar to focus. Yep. Okay. Do we need to know all the subjective objective relationships on the five senses chart? You need to know, Umama. You need to know. Yeah, like you need to know specifically the receptors. That would be your big thing. And then just look at it. Like take 2 seconds, Umama, and read what they're saying. Like you don't need to know like the different like color, like the different smells and the different types. Like I'm not going to ask you to list those out. The receptors, though, those are important. You need to know those receptors. Will you answer questions that's AP psychology related, but probably not on what you guys are learning? Not right now. Definitely not on a test day. I don't mind going over some silly stuff if we're on like a quiz, but tomorrow's a test, and I've been talking for 45 minutes like nonstop, and I'm still not caught up with all the questions, and I know I've skipped some. So, yeah. Is the blind spot just where one eye can't see, but the other eye covers it? Yeah, basically, Tyler. Like I kind of already explained that blind spot, but basically the reason why you don't see blind spots is because one eye covers the other, and then even so, even if you cover one eye, our brain kind of fills in that blind spot because that would be super annoying. Okay. Can you please go give your condensed definition of the terms stimulant, depressants, and hallucinogens? Yes. Okay. So, Mukti, I think this is one of the questions that I skipped over. Okay. So, stimulants, all that's happening is that is an increase of the neurotransmitters. Basically, what is happening is this stimulant is increasing different types of neurotransmitters to bring you up. Stimulants bring you up. You have more energy. Your brain moves faster. Stuff is happening quicker. Depressants bring you down. They level you out. They slow things down. Oftentimes used with like stuff like opiates that bring your like your pain, like the pain that you're feeling. It numbs that type of stuff. Hallucinogens are just wacky things. It's hallucinate. It changes the way that you perceive and interact with the world. People see things, they hear things. When certain like sources come in, those things are warped and changed. Maybe things are more colorful or more terrifying. Like hallucinogens mess with that kind of stuff. Okay. Can you explain nearsighted and farsightedness? Izan, I explained that earlier. James, thank you for answering. You are the man. Okay. Ram, far. Yep. Good. Thank you, Ram. Remember, glasses fix that the light that comes in, so when it does hit the lens, even though your lens doesn't work properly, it compensates for that. It changes it so that it does work properly. That's why people with not your particular not good visionness, like people with 20/20, that's why they're like, I can't see when they do that, because it alters the light that's come in. Okay, Tyler, the McGurk effect is a prominent example of visual capture. Your vision is the most important thing, or your most dominant sense. And I will post a link to the McGurk effect, the YouTube video on that, so you can watch it. But it is a perfect example of your. Let me finish looking. It is a perfect example of how your brain is so incredibly reliant um, on your how your brain is so reliant on your sense of sight. Okay. Um, yep. Good. 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 Okay, Lynn Lee, you've told me who you are before. Tell me again who you are, because you're answering a lot of questions, and I appreciate that, but I don't remember who you are. Lynn Lee, tell me who you are. Okay. When you have a vision deficiency, your lens is not refracting the way it should be. Yep. Okay. Good, James. Yep. Thank you, James. That's awesome. Good man. Oh, I caught up. Do we need to know the CPS and NM fin objective stimulus? What? Objective stimulus. What Ram, I'm not sure about those abbreviations. Ravish, don't ask Crystal that. Just go look. She put it together. She doesn't have to do any more work. Crystal, don't answer that question. Go look at it, Ravish. Okay. Ram, ask her your question again. I don't know what you're talking about. CPS and NM. Neural motivators? I don't know. It's okay, Ravish. Okay. Okay, we did it. I got through all of them. Okay, okay. No, I know I skipped some questions. CPS on the five. No, just no. Rom, just focus on uh the different receptors. That's what I want you to know. No, you don't need to know the orders of consciousness. Yes, we are doing practice questions now. The functions of the cortex? Are you talking about all of the Izan, are you talking about the different lobes? Frontal lobe is in the front. It controls your sense of your fine motor movement, your ability to control your emotions, planning, judgment. Occipital lobe in the back controls your vision. Temporal lobe is on the side, control your hearing. Parietal lobe in the back top half, control your sense of touch. I will post the Quizlet link again, so that it doesn't get like flagged or whatever. I got it, Crystal. I'm just reposting what Crystal posted so you can sort it out on your own. There you go. Okay. Brian, you do not. Why are you guys asking about the fear of women? What? I don't know. I don't know what you're asking. Oh. Okay, sorry. Yeah. So I used to do phobias. Like I would post phobias like for every single um like warm up in the day. So back in the day, I was like really on this like warm up thing. Like when you get into class, you're writing your warm up and doing stuff, and then I just didn't do it because kids stopped doing it, and I was tired of trying to keep them to do it. So I would always have like a phobia, and then kids would ask me like, "Wait a minute, is this on the test?" It's like, no, it's just for fun, but you know, no more fun anymore. Yes. Okay. Okay. So questions. Questions. All right. Bam. Boop. Question number one. Gonna hit you with a doozy. Wake you up. Here they come. No mercy today. Gonna hit you guys with some drug questions. Yeah, Nabil, some of them I've forgotten to take off. Okay, so let's pause here and let's have a little conversation about this. So this is a little strategy for this class and for everything else. So you have choices to make. So whenever whenever I make the test, I try to keep things as even as possible. So we have three basic chapters that we are covering here. The correct answer, by the way, boys and girls, is of course cocaine. Okay, so um, never put question marks. Just pretend like you know what's going on. So good job, Shelly. You, I believe, are the only person who got that right. Way to go, girl. Okay, so you have choices that you get to make. There's a lot of stuff to cover, and uh, and so the drug chart is difficult. There's a lot of things that need to be looked at, and so sometimes you need to make decisions about whether or not you are going to put in the effort to understand and know about this stuff. So what I would advise is if you're like, I haven't even looked at the drug chart and that question I had no idea. I would know some of the basics. Look in there and see if you can find basics. Which are hallucinogens? Which are stimulants? Which are depressants? And know those types of facts. And then maybe a couple of items about it. Because overall, and especially when you guys get to the AP exam, I'm going to give you this advice a lot. You're going to look at chapters and I'm going to be like, okay, cool. Like, hey, guess what? States of consciousness is 2 to 4% of the AP exam. You know what that means? That drugs overall there might be 2 questions if you're unlucky on the AP exam. And if you're really unlucky, it's going to be an FRQ. But later on, when we talk about FRQs, you're going to learn that that's not a big deal. Okay, you can get stuff wrong on the FRQ, and it's fine. So that being said, make smart decisions about what you're studying. If you are just never going to remember all of those drug charts, then don't study them. Focus on other things. Tomorrow, you're going to have to take an L on a few questions. Okay, but if you think it's worth time, and if you have the time to do it, then do it. But if you don't, pick your battles. Figure out what you need to study. Okay, so I give you all that information, and then I'm just going to hit you with another drug question. Boom, 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 boom. And I'll give you some answer choices on this one. Let's see how you do if I give you some answer choices, because it'll be a little bit easier. Where are you? Come here. Look at the list. Look at the list. Morphine, definitely. Yeah. Oh, don't do the letters. What is it? Yeah. Yep. Okay. So, and here's a good point. Okay. So you have, and so this would be an important thing to note, is that you have opiate and depressant in that thing, and this is more what a question would be like on the test, which is something that you can definitely hit if you make sure to focus on it. But remember, an opiate is a part, like is a type of depressant, but it's a more specific type of depressant, and so yes, poppy seed. Yeah. So yeah. Yep. They're not exactly the same thing. Definitely not exactly the same thing. There are definitely some similarities, but once again, when you're looking on the chart, you're looking for opiate. Yep. Okay. All right. Next question. Next question. Let's see. Here we go. We'll give you guys a softball just to get you back in the groove. Damn. Good. Easy peasy. That's definitely REM sleep, guys. Definitely REM sleep. Sleep's what I'm looking for. It's hopefully not stage 3 or stage 4. Okay. Okay. That tear's good. Stage 3, stage 4. All right. Here's a toughie. Here is a toughie. People have gotten this wrong. Let's see, this might be too big. Too many words. Give me a second. The McGurk effect wouldn't be on the test. Like I wouldn't be asking for the McGurk effect. I would be asking for, I'd be asking for visual captor. Yes, indeed, James. It is a very long word. Okay, so there's your next question. Difference threshold. You could also say that this is, yeah, difference threshold. Good, 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 good. Okay. Okay. Next one. It says impairedness, but you can also say, yeah, you could, yeah. But I would never have like either's Weber's law or difference threshold on. Well, or I might. Yeah, it's not absolute threshold. Oh, what is absolute threshold? I talk about it at the beginning of the stream. Yeah, Pandy, that is correct, but I need the technical term. What's the technical terminology for it? Conduction hearing loss. Good. Okay, next question. Good, good, good. Conduction hearing loss. Gabby. Nice, nice abbreviation. Yes, rods. Very specifically rods. Picking up movement, peripheral vision. Good. Okay, next question. We're getting. You guys are ripping through these. You guys are doing good. Keep it up. Doing good. Very good. Accommodation is what I'm looking for. Excellent. Yes. Accommodation. All right, next one. Okay, there's a couple. I've got the next question up. There's a couple answers in front of you, in front of it, but that's fine. Good. Sensory adaptation. Excellent. Okay, here's the next question. Yep, sensory adaptation. Okay, here we go. So here's the next question. Let me give to you the no is on. You can't take an L on the entire test. That's not how that works. Okay, so here we go. The next one I've got. I need to give you the answer questions. I just got to spit them out. All right, figure that one out. Okay, exposed to a short wavelength with a short or small amplitude is likely that they are perceiving a what color? Which letter? Give you guys a second to answer that. I'm going to hop over to another quiz. One more bold questions. Correct answer is dusky green. A dusky green color. Yep. Just look at that little chart. Okay. It's not D, a soft high pitch sound. So the high pitch would have oh no, what am I talking about? No, you could have you can have either. Either C or D. C or D is fine. C or D is fine. Yeah, it's weak with high frequency. Yep. No, D would work. C and D would both work. Because it's saying someone is exposed to short wavelength. Yeah, so the wavelengths are tight, so the frequency is high. Wait, and then, yeah, and then it's got a small amplitude. So yeah, you could say C or D. C or D is just fine. Okay. Yep, you guys are good. Okay, here we go. Next question. Oh, nope, I did not copy the next question. Okay, here we go. Copy. Let's see if this will work. This actually might not work. No, it won't. Oh, dang. Okay, that would have been a good question. Okay, okay, hold on. Rup. There's your next question. Let me see if I can get this to work. Ooh. Yeah, not visual capture. Yeah, which Gestalt principle? Which Gestalt principle, though? Yes, but which one? Complete figures that are incomplete. Yes, closure, Rakib. Good. Yes. Closure is what we're looking for. Good. Yeah, a little tougher on that one, eh? Okay, man. It happens. Yep, closure is what we're looking for. Okay, next question. Phi phenomenon. Yep, phi phenomenon is what we're looking for. Good. Okay, next question. Ugh, I'm actually kind of bummed. I really like this question. This next question. I didn't put it on the quiz this year or on the test this year. Visual cliff is correct. Visual cliff. Yes, murder. Yeah, parts of the brain are definitely on the test. Yes, sir. Yes, Nabil. The baby murder experiment. Okay. Yep. Next one is Francis. Poor Francis. Mmm. Yes, Crystal. Good catch. This is intentional blindness. Yes, Rakib. Nothing's changed, guys. Good, Brian. Yeah, it's intentional. Nothing has changed. It doesn't say that, all of a sudden the new color or whatever. It's just like for 12 years, the person's been living in this building and it's always been the same. Yeah, Izan, remember the brain is only. Oh, I talked about. I did. Oh, I haven't done brain questions yet. I'll do a couple brain questions. You are correct. I have not done that chapter yet. Intentional blindness. Ooh. Let's have some questions about some neurons, baby. Let's do this. Um, Here we go. Schizophrenia. Okay, good. Yep. Dope. All right, here we go. Which chemicals pass across the synaptic gap and increase the possibility of the next neuron firing? Yeah, that's bad, Mukti. Yeah, you need to get that looked at. That's not good. Yeah, what type of neurotransmitters, guys? What type of neurotransmitters? Yes, we know neurotransmitters. Get Ravish. Good, Karis. Yes, Crystal. Good. Excitatory neurotransmitters. Very good. Okay. All right. Okay, so that's all from that. Quiz bank. Let's check this one out. Um, I think this might have been on the quiz, but we'll post it. I think this was on the quiz, but we'll post it anyways. Two-parter. No. Oh my gosh. Hold on. There you go. Yeah, see, you guys already know this. Good. Okay, this was on the quiz. Couldn't remember if that had been on the quiz or not. Mm, sorry, I'm looking at all these old questions. I think I've already. Yeah, I've already asked all. Like these were like the questions that I'm looking at were already like on the quiz recently. I need to increase my biology. My biology question index. Um, goodness gracious, that's it? Yep. Yeah, that's all I got right now. Yeah, I know it's 9:15. I'm just trying to make sure you guys are ready. Okay. Okay. So I won't do. So let me just spend a few minutes going over quiz questions. No, I'm not doing quiz questions. I'll just be asking questions um, about biology of behavior because I haven't given that enough care and attention yet, and it's definitely going to be stuff on your test. So, oh, if I could just go to the right file. Come on, Mr. Monk, get your act together. Okay, here we go. Do I ever give extra credit for tests? Brian. No, you're gonna do great. You're gonna do great. It is 8:15 somewhere. Unfortunately, that place is not here, so it is not helping. Okay. Ooh, here's a good question. Who was the psychologist that created phrenology? Who's the psychologist that came up with phrenology? Yeah, I hear you on that. Yeah, it's either so often it's uh, I very often have tests that pair up with WAP or um, a push. It happens all the time. Yep, Sir Francis Galton. Good, Francis Galton. Good, 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 good. Okay, next question. What What part of your brain is most responsible for your basic automatic survival functions? Your basic automatic survival functions. What part of your brain? Hey, there you go, Zon. You got this, buddy. You got this. Too many tests, Ravish. Too many tests. Sorry, bud. Yep. Brainstem. Brainstem. Okay. Which part of your brain is control over um voluntary movement and balance? What part of your brain is in charge of voluntary movement and balance? Physics? Yeesh. Yep. Good. Cerebellum. Okay. So this part of the brain is in charge of lots of stuff. It is in charge of maintenance activities like eating, drinking, and body temperature. It helps govern the endocrine system, and it is linked to the emotion of reward. Not the motor strip, Aaron. Balance, voluntary activities. Remember, the motor strip is more like fine detail, fine movements, and stuff like that. Cerebellum's more basic. So the hypothalamus. Good. Good. Good is on. Yes. What is the what is the pancreas? What's the purpose of the pancreas? Give me like its basic function. The basic function of the pancreas. Good answers, huh? Yep. Insulin is a part of it. Good. Digestion. Yep. Yep. Blood sugar. Yep. Carbohydrates. All that jazz. Good. Yep. Carbs, proteins. Yeah, you guys got it. See, it's just the endocrine system. It's fine. It's not a big deal. Yep. All right. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. Okay. What is the concept where the brain modifies and changes itself when damage happens? What concept is where your brain changes itself in order to fix damage? Salma, I got your back, yo. I got you. I got you. No big deal. Plasticity, good. Okay. Okay, last chance. Last chance. Any more questions that you guys have? Oh, excuse me. Any last words? I don't think that's going to work on your test, Izan. Can I go over the new stuff some more? Shelly, girl, you have to be more specific. Cornea and fovea? Not really. It's not on the test tomorrow. Yes, we all need to go to sleep in the morning or tonight. Yeah, I'll have tutorials tomorrow, but I'm not gonna like tutorials tomorrow is not gonna be me answering questions. It's gonna be you sitting quietly and going over stuff. I'll answer a couple specific questions, but tomorrow morning I'm not gonna like stand up there and lecture stuff. It's gonna be a quiet time. If you want to come in, you can quietly sit there and study. I'll answer some questions if you come up to my class, but I'm not gonna do that. Don't stay up till 1. Yeah, if we didn't spend time talking about it, Crystal, don't worry about it. Aaron, that doesn't make any sense. You might need extra credit because you're going to bomb it, but remember, positive thoughts. Think positive thoughts. You want to breathe that into the world. No, none of that. I'm going to fail this. What is visual capture? Ooh, I saw some questions. What is visual capture again? I didn't write that in my notes. Okay, so visual capture is just this idea that we rely mostly on our vision. It's our sense that we rely on the most, and so what ends up happening is that our sense of vision can override our other senses. That's visual capture. Okay. So the tense question wouldn't be both info. No, it would just be the information processing theory. Oh, Tyler, what'd you do? You just blew something up. I'm hiding that because you just jammed a bunch of things on the computer. Oh no, where'd I go? Opponent process theory, you don't need to know. Will you have questions for us? No. Do we have to know all the psychologists from Unit 1? Yeah, I would know the psychologists from Unit 1. Definitely you definitely need to know their basics. Come here. You definitely need to know their basics. Exactly, Alexa. Exactly. One is not even late. Crystal, you're outside your dang mind. I'm gonna be going to bed soon. I gotta. Oh, Teddy looks tired today. He doesn't look like he wants to run. Come here. People want to see you. They pay good money to see you. Come on. Come on. I know you were sleeping, but you're gonna be bouncing around here in 2 seconds anyway. Come on. Hello. All right. Here's Teddy. This is Teddy. He wants to wish you good luck tonight or tomorrow for your test. Yes. Hello, Teddy. Yes. All right. Yes. Exactly, Nabil. No, no failing. We're all gonna do well. We're all gonna do well. He's a chocolate lab. Yes. Yes. Yeah, Abina, we know how to give shout outs in this. I didn't see a lot of trains today. You guys need to I'm keeping this train thing going whether you guys like it or not. The trains will be there. I'm gonna make this thing work. I will throw trains. Today was kind of crazy though, so I was trying to keep up. So okay. No, go to bed, Iman. You guys have done your studying. Go to bed. Cover a couple of things more, but you guys got this. Don't stress. You got this. You've been paying attention. Why are you staying up here? He usually gets down about this time. Hello, Teddy. Yes. Teddy train! All right. There you go, Bina. We appreciate that. Yes. Crystal is the bomb. All right. I understand that, Aaron. I got you. I got you. All right. So, guys, tonight, please make sure that you get a good night's rest. Go to bed at least by 10:30, if not 11. Please don't stay up that late. But get a good night's rest tomorrow. Make sure that when you wake up, you get a good breakfast or at least something in your stomach, so that when you take the test, you are good to go. And for my 6th period, make sure you have a decent lunch. Tomorrow, guys, for those of you who have multiple tests, if you stay up all night trying to study for it, you're not doing yourself a service. Okay? So make sure that you get at least some sleep tonight, preferably a good amount of sleep tonight. Okay? So you guys got this. Well, that happens, Aaron. Okay. Y'all have a great night. Thank you very much for hopping on the stream, and for myself and for Teddy, y'all have a good night and good luck tomorrow. Y'all have a good night. Later.